All right, well, it says we're live,
Hello.
so hey, hi, interwebs. Adam, you got to wave because you're the biggest. You're the biggest thing that they see. So hey, welcome to Bleeding Purple Podcast. Right after the game review, hot take festival. Speaking of festival, we got a party going on next to me. So sorry about the music in the background, but I can't control it. It's just that's what it's going to be. So that's where we're at. So Adam, Patrick, hello, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. The Vikings won.
They did. It did not look pretty. It was not awesome at times, but they did win. What were your takeaways from this game, Adam? Generally.
There's still a bunch to work on. I think the offense has to, tweak some things. Maybe work on some different kind of plays to get the running game going because that seemed to struggle a little bit today.
Mm-hmm.
Although the 49ers, they were pretty good against the run last year. They had a high total average, per game against them last year, but per carry wise, they were among the league's best. So that could have been part of it today. Kirk Cousins, he had some moments where he had like that breadbasket touchdown pass to Stephon Diggs, and then a couple threading the needle passes. There's one to Adam Thielen. He had that nice touchdown pass to Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah,
and then there was
some, too.
I don't think he had a completion in the fourth quarter. So
yeah.
He was kind of misfiring in there. I think the Vikings were probably calling the game a little more conservative in the fourth quarter, just trying to hold on to the lead. But yeah, and then on the defensive side, defensive line looked great. Linebackers looked great for the most part.
Mike Hughes looked great.
Yeah, Mike Hughes looked good. Xavier Rhodes looked pretty good. There was just a couple hiccups where Garoppolo was able to find some people open, or the Vikings left guys open, like the 49ers tight end a couple times. Dante Pettis in the back of the end zone there.
Really good game, yeah.
He's pretty good. I would keep an eye on him this year. I thought he was going to be good coming in this year. So he's a really good route runner. So I'm not surprised by that. But yeah, the defensive line looked really good. I think they had 3 sacks. One of them was Harrison Smith, but I think they had 9 hits on the quarterback too.
Mm-hmm. They definitely made Jimmy G's life. Yeah, he did not have a very fun game, it looked like. And they still look like they had a lot of kinks to work out. Like there was a lot of miscommunication from wide receivers to like the interception. Mike Hughes touchdown pick was obviously a miscommunication between Jimmy G and the wide receiver. So I don't know. It's not sustainable from as a model for the Vikings, but I'm glad they won, and I'm glad the defense looked really good, but...
Oh, yeah.
But, it didn't seem... you can't do that every week and expect to win a ton of games, but I feel like they did what they needed to do and played well enough to win, which is, what we're looking for, right? Is to get a win.
Yeah, in the NFL, you want to just get a win no matter what.
You can't make it up. Like, honest to God.
Hey, they're happy about the win too. So.
They're having a great time. Everybody's partying about the Vikings.
It was good. Yeah, I think Harrison Smith. He was probably the best player of the game, offense and defense. I think he led the team in tackles. He had 8 tackles. He had a sack. And he had that game-sealing interception. He had the fumble recovery.
Yes, he did. He played really well.
Everywhere today.
Were you at all surprised with how much they were using Dalvin Cook? I thought they were going to kind of slowly work him back in a little bit, but he was like, that was like 4 touches right in a row. It was like their first 4 plays. It was like, Dalvin Cook is back,
I think he had 22 touches overall and like 16 rushes. So, they worked him in there pretty good. Like, he pretty much looked like he had the same amount of, time on the field as he did last year. So,
do you think he's...
I kind of expected that when they announced the inactives before the game, which was, Mike Boone and Rock Thomas were both inactive, so that only meant that 2 running backs were going to be active for the Vikings. So I'm like, oh, okay, so Dalvin Cook's probably going to get a lot of work today. And, he did.
Definitely. And do you think that he was, at the end of the game, they were giving the ball to Murray quite a bit? Do you think that was just we're kind of giving Cook a break, or do you think that was Zimmer punishing his players for making mistakes again because he fumbled? That's what I think it was, personally.
I think they were trying to emphasize the run a little more, and Murray was having more success on Sunday. Between the tackles, at least. Yeah. And they were just trying to run out the clock, so I think that's what it was.
And he's your guy for that.
Dalvin Cook did well. Yeah. Dalvin Cook did well as a receiver. I think he had 6 catches. He had a couple plays where it looked like he could have broke free. He had that one run up the middle that resulted in a fumble, unfortunately.
Which is too bad, because that was a really nice run, too.
Yeah, that was a good run. But there were times where I was, wincing a little bit when he would get hit.
For sure. But there was one where somebody caught him behind the line and dove at his legs, and I was like, "Oh no, he's fine. Okay, he's fine."
And what about Kirk Cousins? Like scrambling and diving head first. What are you doing, dude?
What are you doing?
Week 1,
torpedo with your head down, like, buddy, come on. Yeah, I did not like that a single bit. That weirded me out. And like of all this stuff, there's so much happened, but it all basically came down to the 49ers jumping off sides on 4th and 1. It was like a huge play in that game. And the 49ers basically just gave them, gave them the game, basically. Because then, I mean, you could say whatever about the interceptions, but, God, you can't jump off sides there. That's crazy.
No, yeah, that's the one thing you knew they were going to try and do that, and the Vikings guy got it. So
when people say I don't get why they even try this, it never works. That's why, because if it's 1 in 1,000, they're going to do it. They're going to try. No reason not to.
Yeah, and the 49ers defense knows that they know that's coming. Even when they know it's coming, they still for some reason just like forget it. They get lost in the crowd.
Yeah, stuff gets weird
or something like that, and just happens. But, yeah, that was a big play. I think the Sheldon Richardson roughing the passer was a big play. I'm not really sure what he's supposed to do in that situation. Like, is he supposed to just let Garoppolo go?
I don't quite understand. So for him, he's going to have to change everything about the way he tackles a quarterback, because that's his move. Latch on and then tip over with the guy under you and you land on.
What if Garoppolo is able to just throw the ball when he's falling?
That's what I'm saying. He's going to have to totally revamp the way he's going to have to roll guys up now. That's not something he does. That's not something he's ever done. I don't understand. I'm not saying I disagree with the fact that it was against the rules, because evidently with the point of emphasis and blah blah blah, that is against the rules now. But I don't know what he's supposed to do once he wraps a guy up.
The Aaron Rodgers rule.
Yeah, politely ask them to lay down. I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't understand. I know they're trying to make the game safer. I just don't understand how you call that. It wasn't intentional.
No. Or the intent to injure wasn't there for sure,
No, yeah, there's a clear difference. You can tell there's some guys that go out there and pile drive people into the ground, and those are the plays the NFL is trying to get rid of. That play that's like a bang bang play. How are you? Sendejo, I feel like Sendejo had worse hits.
He had 2 or 3 today that I thought were going to get flagged for sure, and didn't get flagged. Yes,
but they didn't.
No, but they didn't.
But I guess that's how it's going to be, especially next week when the Vikings play the Packers. Be watching out for that every time Aaron Rodgers gets touched.
I was going to say they're not even going to get to touch him. I guarantee no sacks on next week for the Vikings. They're just not even going to let it happen.
But Mike Hughes had himself a nice afternoon.
Boy, did he ever. He looks so good.
Yeah,
he was kind of gifted the interception return, but you still got to be a player. You got to be on the field, catch the ball, score it. That's what he's supposed to do, man. I was really impressed with him today.
Yeah, he had that good play, I think, when he broke up that touchdown pass in the end zone. I think Pierre Garçon was trying to come down with it.
Yeah.
And Mike Hughes was right there. I mean, he had to play more. I think he had to play more on the outside. today because Trey Waynes went out with I think a knee injury.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound serious. He was questionable to return during the game, so I don't imagine that it's too serious. They just didn't want to, it's week 1. They don't want to put guys out there if they don't have to.
For sure.
Mackenzie Alexander was out too, so Mike Hughes was going to play a lot anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looked good.
Yeah, and was making plays on special teams too. I noticed, like he was all over the place today.
Maybe the Vikings knew what they were doing when they drafted him in the first round. Maybe they did.
Speaking of that, what did you think of the offensive line play today? Not super great.
The right side was good. Right
yes.
side was good.
Yeah, right side looked okay.
I didn't hear Rashad Hill's name or Mike Remmer's name really that much. Tom Compton.
Tom Compton did not have a great game today.
I think he's probably better on the bench. I think Danny Isidoro would be worth getting a look over there, or even Avian Collins.
Who was inactive today. Is that because of injury, or is that... Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he was hurt.
Okay.
But the Vikings did have a tough matchup on the inside, too. DeForest Buckner, he's no slouch. I think he had like the 5th most pressures of any defensive lineman last year, so, the Vikings knew they had a tough matchup, and the Niners just took advantage of it. I think all the sacks came from the left side of the line of scrimmage today, and that was clearly evident. I don't think they'll have as much of a tough time next week against the Packers. I don't really know who the Packers have to rush the quarterback this year.
I don't think it'll be
Mike Daniels is on off. No, but yeah, there were points. The Vikings defense did look good. They looked really good. There were points, though. They gave up a couple long drives, like 10 or 11 plus play drives, which
yes, they did. And a couple 3-4 like busted coverages with like guys leaking out of the backfield. Like that one big play to the fullback I think that was Gideon that missed him coming out of the backfield. And so they definitely didn't look perfect. Mike Hughes the same way. He had a great game, but he got beat 3 times. There were points during the game where he was looking like a rookie, and there were also, I thought the offensive line did okay, but there were also points when Jones looked like he was brand spanking new, where everybody moves, but the center's still standing there with the ball. Yeah, and he is, and so, a lot of room for improvement, and they still like won a football game, and were never really in doubt. They were pretty much in control of that game from basically
they
from
won.
Start to
they
finish.
Didn't suffer. I don't think they suffered. They won. I don't think they suffered any, significant injuries. Which is always good. They won at home, which you have to do.
Yep. And Mike Zimmer's been very good
an NFC opponent. Yeah, this win could possibly be a tiebreaker later in the year.
Yes,
so
yes.
It's week 1, but you still want to get that win.
We did like a pregame thing for Vikings territory today, and somebody had mentioned that where it was like, is this a must-win game? I don't think so. But but then you start thinking about tiebreakers and how important home field advantage is going to be later on in the season, and and it does start to. It's not must-win in week 1, obviously, but these games are important, and I don't know. It was good for them to get a win, I thought. I don't know. Kirk Cousins is going to... Overall, I thought he looked okay, but his stat line is going to look so much nicer than I thought he actually played today. Does that make sense to you? I didn't think that he looked awful, but his stats are going to look like 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, over 250 yards. They're going to be like, that's what we're paying him for, but...
Yeah, if he didn't really play that well in the fourth quarter. He didn't have a completion, I don't think. He probably should have had 300 yards. If he continued to play like he was. He got off to a good. He played. I think he had a good third quarter. Where they have 2, or they had 1 touchdown. The other touchdown was Mike Hughes. But they left. I feel like they left a couple of points on the board that the final drive in the first half should have resulted in at least 3 points.
That was such a bad string of plays at the end of the half.
If they were able to, if they were able to get a touchdown, that probably would have probably put the 49ers, game away. I mean, I thought that when they went up, 24-6, I thought the game was out of reach then, but the Vikings wanted to make things interesting, I guess. Yeah. I should have known better.
Yeah, I was going to say, what were you thinking?
But hey, I think Daniel Carlson made all his kicks.
Yes, he did.
So that's another positive.
That punter, however,
he made all his extra points. The punter, he had a couple good punts, but he had a bad punt.
Really bad punt when they needed a good punt. And I thought, where's Quigley? He didn't deserve this. That's what I thought. He didn't deserve this. Quigley would have put him inside the 5. Probably.
But like we brought up last week, it could have been more than just punting. It could have been holding, and Carlson made all his kicks today. So maybe that made a difference.
Yes, special teams today, I give a thumbs up, all things considered, because they did not look good in the preseason, and they didn't do anything to jeopardize or everybody.
No real long return.
Yes, everybody did their job, and special teams was nothing to write home about, which is what you want for the Vikings. If you're a Vikings fan, that's what you want.
Oh, yeah, overall, there's a lot of positives to take away on offense, defense, special teams. But, going into next week, I'm sure, I think Mike Zimmer's got his press conference going on right now. I'm sure he's not ecstatic about the way the team played. There's a lot of things this team still has to work on if they want to, even have that thought of, getting to a Super Bowl, which is a long, long ways away.
Very long ways away.
That's the expectation for this team. But they won. That's in the NFL. That's really what matters. They won.
Totally.
The Saints lost to the Bucs today. Now the Saints are like, we're 0-1. What do we do?
Yeah.
In this loaded NFC, where one loss is gonna make a difference, and especially a loss to the Buccaneers. You can't lose to the Buccaneers.
No, not the Bucs.
Maybe the Bucs are good Maybe the Bucs are good this year, but probably not.
Probably not. I don't think. Yeah, I think probably not. And you're exactly right. Nobody's going to look back on week 1 and see a W with that score and be like, but they didn't really play that well. They're going to say it was a win against an NFC opponent, and you move on and you try to win more games. That's all we can do. I thought they looked good, all things considered. I was worried about the offense, and the offense was meh, but it's early. That's what they're going to look like. I think that offense is going to hit its stride later on in the season when it's going to be really important for them to score a lot of points, because stuff is going to change and players are going to be out, and things are going to move around. So I think the offense will be better later on.
Week 1. I think the first couple of weeks of the regular season, like these days, are a lot different than they would have been a couple of years ago. I think it's more just like maybe a continuation of the preseason, where guys are still trying to figure stuff out. Get into football shape, as people like to say.
Yes, they do like to say that.
And I think a lot of people thought this game was going to be close. So the final score shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah, I guess that's a great place to go. Do you think that did this change how you felt about San Francisco, or do you think they are going to be playoff contending? I think they look like a pretty good football team. I was kind of skeptical going in, but they look okay. Yeah. I'm not sure they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they'll be flirting with the playoffs with a wild card spot.
Yeah, I think they've got a shot. They've got a shot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. They definitely have a shot. I mean, they can't really afford many more injuries. I think their offensive line is starting to look worse than the Vikings as far as injuries go. But
yeah, and that was a rough stretch today for them.
Their defense isn't that bad. They've got Richard Sherman, and that defensive line looks pretty good. So they've got a shot. I thought I would have been more surprised probably today if the Vikings actually did blow them out.
Yeah.
Rather than what the final score actually was. So
I'd agree with that.
I mean, maybe they'll see them again later, in the postseason. So
yeah, I thought it was good. What do you think, man? You got anything? I've never done this before. I've never done a quick reaction thing, so I don't know. How long do we go? What do you think? Where are you at with it? How do you feel? I don't know.
Do you have any is there anything that you didn't like?
Not really that I didn't.
That you really wish
as opposed to
Laquan Treadwell had a couple drops. But he also had like a nice catch and run.
He's the one drop that he had was there was something weird going on with the routes between him and Kyle Rudolph. I mean, you still got to catch that ball, but there was something else happening there. So I don't know. Yeah. It seemed like there were some mental mistakes that were kind of frustrating. But my biggest takeaway from this was we didn't really get shown a lot of the offense, but it still was enough points for them to win the game fairly comfortably. Defense played well. I don't know. I thought it was good. You know, there's nothing really to be that concerned about. I mean, the offensive line didn't look great, but it wasn't a complete disaster, and I felt like it could have been. But we'll see if Compton can either get better or they can get somebody in that spot. I'll feel a lot more comfortable that way. And if they, I don't know, from the offensive coordinator standpoint, I thought it was whatever. No reason to yell at him.
I think this is only like his second year as an offensive coordinator, so obviously he's DeFilippo's learning what to do. You know,
that's what I'm saying.
Season goes on,
and everybody's like, "No, he's going to be great." No,
so
hang on, let's make sure he's good first.
I mean, the offense does look similar. It does look similar to what they were doing last year, which
definitely
is
it does.
Quick passes and spreading the ball around to everybody. Diggs kind of disappeared after that touchdown catch.
Yep.
I think he only had 3 catches. But Adam Thielen looked good. I think he had over 100 yards receiving.
Yes, he did. Tyler Conklin had a catch today.
He did, yeah.
Like, whoa.
He had a catch. David Morgan had a catch.
Yeah,
C.J. Ham had a catch, I believe.
I think you're right.
So, yeah, they spread the ball around. Kyle Rudolph wasn't really part of the game plan, which is kind of weird. But whatever. I mean, it worked for him today.
It did, yeah.
They found him in the red zone. That's probably what they're going to use him a lot for this year. So that worked out.
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings scored a touchdown in the red zone. I think that's an area where they kind of struggled, or where Kirk Cousins struggles. Apparently, according to stats and stuff, he struggles in the red zone. So
yeah.
But they got that done today. There's a bunch of stuff to be happy about. There's also stuff that we can write about that, they need to improve on.
100%. This is going to be a good week for guys who write about the Vikings, because you can definitely, depending on the way you twist it, there are a lot of good things to take away from this game, but there are definitely a fair amount of negatives that you can take away from this as well.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think this is what you want. You want them to win a game. It didn't look great. You won. That's what you want.
Yeah, I mean, they should probably trade... for a starting left tackle, starting left guard, right away. They should just trade Dalvin Cook.
I was going to say, you could probably get one straight up for Cook.
Yeah,
if you wanted to.
Yeah, he's not the player that he used to be with his new knee. So just get rid of him.
That's so amazing.
Put Mike Boone in.
Guy's 22 years old and he played 4 games. He's like, well, he's not like he used to be. I don't know what to tell you. That's the best.
He only had like 95 total yards today, so he didn't get 100. So he's pretty washed up.
Yeah, I mean, when you compare him to Adrian Peterson, it's tough for him to come in and live up to those type of expectations. So
he's not. I wouldn't pick him for your fantasy team.
But. No, God no.
Speaking of fantasy team, I had the Vikings as my fantasy defense, so I was pretty happy about it.
How did that go? How many points did you score?
They had like 20 points.
They're going to be
They had 3 interceptions, 3 sacks, a touchdown.
Can't go wrong. Yeah, interception, return for a touchdown. Can't go wrong with that performance. Yeah, they did. Well, see, and that I think maybe that's my big concern coming. Like, all things considered, my biggest concern is that this model is not sustainable. They can't rely on their defense to score touchdowns and get turnovers that many turnovers.
No. Maybe they can.
I don't know if that is a lot to ask of a defense. That feels like if you're asking your defense to do that, you're not going to get 3 turnovers every game, and then you lose that game. You don't get 3 turnovers because you're just planning on scoring 14 points. Yeah. Kirk Cousins has to be a little bit better,
That's basically the Saints defense, which looked pretty good today, giving up 48 points.
Fitzpatrick, man, HOF.
The Vikings the Vikings didn't have They didn't have a lot of turnovers last year, and they were still really good.
Yeah.
So I think getting turnovers just kind of adds to how good of a defense they could be.
For sure, cherry on top, right?
Let's not throw them in as like an all-time defense right now, but they're off to a good start.
They are, for sure. Obviously they're going to be the part of the team that leads this team. Like, I don't think it's ever going to be the offense that is going to be the reason they're winning a ton of games. But if you can get the offense to score 21 points a game, you're golden. They'll do all the things you need to do if you can get your offense to score about 21 points.
Yeah, they scored 21. They held the 49ers to 16 points. I mean, anytime you hold a team to 16 points, you should be able to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you have guys on the offensive side of the ball that are like Kirk Cousins and Stephon Diggs.
Yes, 100%. 100%. That is not too much to ask, and I think they'll be okay. And I think they'll probably win again next week. There, I said it. I mean, we'll hold off on predictions until the actual recording of the episode, but it's a little tease there. Little tease.
Early prediction. Even though I believe last week in our season predictions, you predicted the Vikings to lose.
No, I mean, I can predict whatever I want. I'm
not sure. I'm not sure if the Packers are even going to win tonight on Sunday Night Football, because Khalil Mack is on the Bears defense now.
And he is going to, I mean, I'm not sure if you heard, but him joining the team makes them NFC North contenders. So it's with Khalil Mack.
Contender.
It's, yep.
NFC contenders.
NFC Super Bowl contenders. You seen that Trubisky?
They don't even need a quarterback.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
they don't even need a quarterback.
This is really fun, Adam. I will. I want to talk to you tomorrow. I think we should record it. I think we should put it on the internet. How do you feel about that?
We'll talk tomorrow. This was good. I think this was good to get everything out immediately. Get the hot takes out. Trade Dalvin Cook, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be said, so I'm glad we got out here before others did to say it first. So
yeah, before everybody says that, before that becomes talk of the town during this week.
Mm-hmm. See, and that's the kind of dedication that we're here to give. It's like all season. Bleeding Purple fans, that's what you're going to get, is that kind of dedication from us. So I mean, it's get used to it. So
now I'm going to go watch Zimmer's press conference, see what if Chris Thomason asked who his starting center is going to be next week.
Can't wait. I can't wait.
So
he definitely
will be good. But they won 1-0, undefeated.
1-0. Hooty hoo. Skol Vikes.
It's too bad they didn't draft Josh Allen, but 1-0, undefeated. Had to get that in there.
Had to get it in there. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
All right.